Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and absolutely demystify the reality of the 2026 EB-2 NIW timeline. And we're going to do this using hard data pulled directly from the latest system reports. Look, if you've been wondering how long this whole process actually takes, from your very first filing all the way to getting that approved green card in your hands, you are definitely not alone. It is literally the most searched immigration question, right after finding out if you even qualify. But we have to face a harsh reality here. Your timeline heavily depends on a few major variables, and those old historical baselines, they simply don't cut it anymore. So we're going to map out realistic timelines, country by country, path by path, and take a hard look at the actual system strain that, quite frankly, most people just aren't talking about. We absolutely have to start with this staggering system-level context. As of Q1 2026, we are looking at a genuine crisis with 11.3 million pending USCIS applications. To put that into perspective, that is more than the population of countries like Greece or Sweden, just waiting in line. This is hands down the longest backlog the system has seen in over a decade. You really cannot plan an immigration journey right now without understanding this massive hurdle. This unprecedented backlog directly dictates how long every single application is going to take. And it's exactly why those old timeline estimates from just a few years ago are completely obsolete now. But wait, what's even crazier is the unopened mail situation. We're talking about 34,000 cases that haven't even been entered into the processing system yet. These are physical packages sitting in USCIS mailrooms, completely untracked. So what does that actually mean for you? Well, it means until your case is officially entered, you can't track it online, you don't get a receipt notice, and your file isn't moving an inch toward adjudication. For a lot of folks who filed paper applications in early 2026 without premium processing, their clock hasn't even started ticking yet. So to cut through all this bureaucratic noise, here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, the unprecedented 2026 backlog. 2, deconstructing the 5 phases. 3, real timelines by country. 4, premium processing or not. And 5, strategies to accelerate your case. All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the unprecedented 2026 backlog, and exactly why historical timelines no longer apply. If you are filing a brand new application today and you're skipping premium processing, you've got a plan for a 21 to 22.5 month reality. Now, you might go online and read that the median processing time is somewhere around 7.9 months. But listen, you need to be really careful with that number. That faster median, it only reflects older cases that are finally being cleared out of the system today. It is absolutely not representative of a new petition filed right now. So, with standard processing, you are staring down nearly 2 years just to get your initial petition decision. Okay, moving on to section 2, deconstructing the 5 phases, where we break down the underlying mechanics. There is a massive, fundamental misunderstanding we need to clear up right now. The crucial point that so many people conflate is that the EB-2 NIW process actually has 2 completely separate components. Think of them as 2 totally different gatekeepers. Component 1 is your I-140 immigrant petition. That's where USCIS judges the legal argument that your work is actually in the national interest. But component 2 is the actual green card issuance, which completely relies on a visa number being available. And that is entirely dictated by the State Department through their monthly visa bulletin. Understanding the difference between these 2 components is absolutely essential for understanding your true timeline. So here's how that whole journey actually unfolds across 5 distinct phases. Phase 1 is petition preparation, which, by the way, you fully control. Getting your evidence right prevents massive headaches later. Phase 2 is the USCIS adjudication of that I-140 we just talked about. Phase 3 is the priority date wait. This is the backlog phase, where you're just waiting for a visa number to open up. Phase 4 is your actual application for the green card itself, either adjusting your status inside the US or doing consular processing abroad. And finally, Phase 5 is the issuance and delivery of your physical green card. That brings us to Section 3, real timelines by country, mapping out the May 2026 visa bulletin. Now, Phase 3 is entirely out of your control. It is dictated by where you were born. Scanning the May 2026 final action dates, the reality is pretty stark. For folks in the rest of the world category, along with Mexico and the Philippines, your final action date is current. That means your Phase 3 wait time effectively drops to 0. But look at China mainland-born applicants. Their date is stuck at September 1st, 2021. So for a new filer in 2026, you're facing an estimated 4 to 5 year delay. And for India-born applicants, the date is way back at July 15th, 2014. That means a new Indian-born filer is staring down an agonizing 12 to 15 plus year backlog just for a visa number to become available. When you factor in all 5 phases together, these are your realistic end-to-end processing estimates for 4 of the most common scenarios in 2026. A rest-of-the-world applicant using premium processing and adjusting status in the US, you're looking at a highly efficient 14 to 22 months total. Now, if you draw premium processing, that timeline stretches to about 36 to 40 months. For China-born applicants, even with premium processing, the total wait is still 4 to 7 years. And for India-born applicants, well, even if they pay for premium processing to get that initial I-140 approved lightning fast, their total timeline remains 12 to 15 plus years. Why? Because they are entirely bottlenecked by that visa bulletin wait in Phase 3. Let's tackle Section 4, premium processing or not, analyzing the $2,965 decision. Given these massive wait times, you're probably wondering, is giving USCIS an extra $2,965 for a guaranteed 45-day decision actually worth it? Well, it depends. Standard processing actually makes a lot of sense if you're an India-born applicant. Your ultimate timeline is dominated by a decade-long wait anyway, right? Getting your I-140 approved in 45 days literally won't change your final green card date. Standard also makes sense if you're on a super tight budget, or if your evidence is maybe a bit thin, which risks the request for evidence, or RFE. On the flip side, premium processing is an absolute game changer for rest-of-world applicants, or China-born applicants who are close to being current. Faster approval for them directly accelerates their entire process. Plus, it's vital if you're on an H-1B visa that's expiring within 12 months, and you desperately need that I-140 approval to lock in your AC-21 extensions. And finally, Section 5, strategies to accelerate your case. These are the statutory tools you can use to beat the system. Because the truth is, you don't have to just sit back and wait passively. There are strategic levers you can pull. First, e-file your I-140. This completely bypasses that 34,000 unopened paper case jam we talked about earlier. Just skip the mailroom entirely. Second, file flawless, thoroughly documented petitions. By doing this, you completely avoid the devastating 3 to 9 month delay caused by an RFE. If you're from a backlogged country, you can aggressively build an EB-1A profile while you wait. That lets you port your earlier EB-2 priority date into the much faster EB-1 queue down the line. And then there's a profoundly powerful statutory tool called cross-chargeability. Let's see exactly how cross-chargeability works in the real world under INA Section 202(b)(2). Imagine an India-born applicant, someone who would normally face a 15-year wait. But let's have a UK-born spouse. Under cross-chargeability, they can legally apply their spouse's rest-of-world current status to their own application. So watch this. They file the EB-2 NIW in week 1. They get premium approval by week 5. They apply the spouse's UK chargeability in week 6 to immediately file the I-485. And boom, their green card is approved in month 14 to 22. They literally collapse to 15-year wait down to under 2 years. It is perfectly legal, and it was specifically designed by Congress to prevent family separation due to these insane backlogs. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a question to chew on. For most people watching this, the wait is measured in years. But the most successful professionals, they don't just wait passively in line. They use the pendency period to actively build toward their next strategic immigration milestone. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to use this time to build an EB-1A profile? Are you going to lock in an early priority date right now? The system in 2026 is overwhelmed, no doubt about it. But it's not impossible to navigate if you understand the mechanics and take absolute control of the phases you can actually influence. Plan your next move and start building your future today.